Hey y'all, Stand Up Gaming here again with another vlog, and I am going to be covering a topic that I wish I didn't have to cover because I'm kind of tired of it. And that topic is this video card right over here. Unfortunately, with the way I designed it and the way I've wired it up, these fans that are inside here are driven by a PMW controller that's hooked up to my motherboard, and it's only reading temperatures from the system or like the motherboard, MOSFETs maybe. And unfortunately, when I'm actually running some GPU loads, the fans don't really spin up on this thing and it kind of overheats. Well, it doesn't overheat, but it definitely starts to throttle because it reaches the maximum temperature. So my plan is to take the same fans and hook them up internally using these adapters so that it'll use the fan adapters, or sorry, the fan ports on the GPU itself. You'll see in a bit. In a perfect world, all fan adapters are going to be the same and I would be able to just install these. But as you can see, they do not fit. And that's where this adapter comes in. This is the original fan that came with the video card, and the port it uses is this one right over here. And this is where the adapter comes in. It takes a normal 4-pin fan port and turns it into the same port that's on my video card. It's hard to tell on camera, but they do have very similar pins, even though the latching mechanism might be a little bit different, but it'll still latch on. Well, fingers crossed. To begin this change, I need to take apart the GPU again. Maybe it's a good thing too, because maybe you can't see it. You can sort of see it, but the RGB LED has been dislodged. If I'm not able to achieve this, I'll have to resort to something I really don't want to. And that's to take the original fan assembly, and then I'll have to introduce to my little friend Krylon Fusion. I really don't want to do this, but if I have to, I will. So here comes the moment of truth. Will this fan adapter fit inside the GPU? I'm happy to report that the fan adapter does indeed fit inside the stock fan ports. Yes. One thing I found pretty interesting, I bought these 3 fan adapters together. 2 of them come with a different latching system, and then one of them does come with the exact same latching system that's found on the stock fans. Kind of interesting. Should I complain about it? Because I kind of want all of these as the stock ones. I did encounter a problem. For this fan, it's not an issue because it has a little through port for it. But unfortunately, these 2 fans are going over the maximum height, which is this tab right over here. And unfortunately, because it has a heat shrink along with this braided cover, it's very stiff and it can't bend over here. So I think I have to actually cut that heat shrink, which definitely ruins the warranty. It also means that if I want to exchange it for all of these connectors, I won't be able to return that one. Decisions. So I got impatient, and so I took my cutting blade and lightly scored the heat shrink. I did it a few times, not too hard, so I don't cut the wire or the braid, and then it just simply peels off, just like that, and it should be flexible now. With the heat shrink taken away, we now have access to the fan ports, and we're able to route the cables through without interfering with the tabs. And while I'm in here, I might as well address the RGB issue where it's coming off. So I've just marked off where my logo is, and I'm going to put a little piece of tape here to kind of let me know where the middle is. Instead of glue, I'm just going to use hot glue. Using the hot glue for this might be a little aggressive, but if you didn't know, if you use alcohol, the hot glue actually comes off pretty easily. So this should be a reversible little mod I'm doing, so I'm not too worried. While the glue gun is heating up, I will say that basically with these adapters inside the card along with these cables on the actual fans, I am going to be introducing more restriction in the heatsink itself. I mean, it's not that much. Obviously, like where these circles are, there's actually no air passing through. So I think overall in terms of surface area, it shouldn't have a huge impact, but there is definitely still going to be some sort of impact of basically I'm blocking the fins with these connectors, which is kind of a bummer. But right now it's performing awfully because of the fact that the fans are being forced to spin too low, and hopefully with these adapters it can actually reach higher speeds. It'll be louder obviously, but hopefully cooler. And if anyone's wondering, essentially these fans here, the original fans, actually take more wattage than the fans I've installed. So I'm not too concerned about burning out the fan connectors. Well, that's the hope. The heat gun is all heated up now, and it's time to install the RGB onto this plate. I'm gonna do it off camera because it's kind of hard with one hand, and I'll just show you the final result. But essentially I'm just gonna put a little tab of glue on each end, and hopefully that should be good enough. So I've got glue on both ends of the RGB PCB, and I hope that should be enough. I guess we'll find out. And now I have to just hook up all the fans. With the fans all hooked up, it's now just a matter of putting back the clamshell or shroud. And let's see if I can put the wires near the end here, since there's no fins to interfere with, but there's definitely a lot of blockage along the fin array all as well. I'm not 100% happy with how the routing of the cables have gone inside here, but I am just glad that there's actually no cables interfering with the fans. And so now it's just a matter of screwing the tabs back on, and we can go ahead and test this out. Okay, so everything is now screwed in place. There's no more cables sticking out, but you can definitely see the nest inside the shroud. Before, with the cable sticking out, it was going against the ATX standards, so it's better that they're all contained now. I'm gonna throw it onto the workbench really quick just to see if it's still working. Okay, so I now have it on my 3D printed workbench over here. Really simple workbench. If you're interested in printing one out for yourself, I'll put a link to it in the description. But let's fire it up. I know that when I do turn it on for the first time, it's likely not gonna boot all the way because of the fact that I've changed the RAM that's in there, so it has to do the whole like RAM speed adjustment thing first, and then it'll reboot, and then we'll get into Windows and see if the temperatures are better. I really hope they're better, because I really don't want to resort to our little friend over here. No, I hate painting. We've got our keyboard and mouse, we've got our little monitor here. Everything should be hooked up. Let's turn it on. Fans are spinning, so that's a good sign. And again, it's very likely that this system will, yeah, there it goes, it turned itself off, because now it has to do its little memory adjustment sequence thing. But we've got the fans going, and the logo is looking better. Pretty happy about this. It's still not the clearest, but I mean, what can we do when we just try to repurpose the RGB built in? It still looks pretty good. Yeah, so it's asking for like some confirmation on the memory, because things have changed. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera and have it boot up so that we can get into Windows and run some thermal tests. Man, it's a rat's nest in there. Still pretty happy about it though. Sug. The system's now booted up and we are inside Windows. And let me go ahead and see if I can control the fan speed. We'll put it to 100%. And you can hear the fans now. They are at 100%. We have the benchmark running for a while now. I'm seeing a maximum temperature of 75 degrees Celsius. It's currently 25 degrees in my garage, so that's not so bad. We do have the fans running at 100%, and that's what's gonna happen anyways during the game, so I think that's pretty good considering what I was seeing before. I was seeing like 87, so that wasn't good. I think the fans were just spinning way too low. So 75, right now it's at 71. I think that's a pretty solid temperature. So I'm gonna call this good and continue on with filming the video where this GPU was placed in. So stay tuned for that. I'm super happy that we had this kind of figured out for now. I was really worried I had to resort to using the Krylon Fusion paint. I really don't want to paint anything right now. So I'm happy that using those fan converters to enable the GPU board to control the fans kind of solved my issue. So really happy about it. Not much to say. Thanks for joining this vlog. If you liked it, give it a like. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to see sneak peeks of where this GPU is going, check out my Patreon. And I will see you all tomorrow.